Welcome.
Welcome to the Nurse Gotta Knit podcast. This is Stitch 32.
I have no idea.
It's August 6th.
Yep.
August 6th.
Hottest month in
ever.
the South Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always horrible
It
here
is.
in
It
August.
is.
I hate August.
I delivered Paige on August 31st. A lot of people that know me, they know that my late husband, he had to have her delivered before the school year, which back in the day, you had to be born before September 1. And I tell you, there's never been more of a miserable August than the August I was pregnant.
I've
like
just
9
never
months.
heard of a doctor that would do that.
She said, when I asked her, first of all, I told Mario, that's my late husband, I told him, I said, I am not asking the doctor to induce labor because you want your child to go to school on time. He goes, just ask her. If there's a problem, I was due September 4th. If there's a problem, we won't do it, but just ask her. So I asked her, I said, so my husband wants to know if it's possible that I can have the baby by the 31st. And she goes, oh yeah, second biggest induction day. Next to December 31st for taxes.
It amazes me. I guess whenever I was having my kids, I just never thought about.
I never thought of it either.
When they're born, you know.
Yeah, no,
like,
I never thought of it until Mario brought it up. Yeah,
but,
I never thought of it. And and I'm telling you, when he brought it up, I was like, "You're crazy. I'm not talking to my doctor about this."
I don't know that I would have. I probably would have said, "No, I'm not doing that." I just never would have even thought.
So,
but anyway, I hate August. August is horrible.
It's hot.
It's so hot here. It's awful. It's like an oven.
It is. It is hot and horrible. Jackson, Paige's dog, chewed.
Your dog?
Yeah, my dog chewed my glasses. Do you guys see that hole? Do you see how I can hang my glasses? I had to go to the doctor's office yesterday to get a new prescription because my prescription's over a year old. I'll just try to get new glasses, and I called Eyewear Express to see if my platinum protection plan that I bought is still good, and no, it only lasts a year. And I bought those in February of 18.
Figures.
So yesterday I had to go to the eye doctor, and I got a new prescription, and my eyes look good. And
that's good. She
said the prescription's almost exactly the same, but she was.
Well, that's good.
She said she was sharpening out my reading a little bit, and I said, okay, I think I can handle that because they're progressives. So. And you? What you got going?
Oh, nothing. I mean, it was a busy July. We had our knitting retreat. We went to the lake.
We did. We went to the lake house. I'll have a billion pictures to insert.
And if she puts any of me in the water, I will kill her. And this will be our very last podcast. So just so y'all know.
Darlene got on the. Are they paddle boards? Darlene got on the paddle boards. Yep. I will not be inserting any pictures of Darlene in the water here.
Okay.
Because I don't want to die.
My daughter and my daughter-in-law to be were. They went and they both got in the water, and Camille, my son's girlfriend, she is one of these people that just decides to do something and does it. I mean, she's amazing.
And does it well.
And I mean, and just everything. Like, she wants to crochet, so one time we show her something, she just goes, and like she just is amazing. And she wanted the paddleboard. Okay, so she wanted me and Shyla to go with her. Shyla is terrified of the water, and she can't swim. So I was kind of proud of, I was very proud of Shyla for even getting in the water because she hates the water.
She does.
She hates it. She's terrified of it. She hates it. So she put on a life jacket and she got out in the water, and her and Camille, well, we all three stood up on our paddle boards, but I quickly fell off and then hurt my knee getting back on it, and still hurts.
It still hurts. And this was
a month ago.
July 13th.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to go to the doctor, but I'm just avoiding that $1,000 copay from our wonderful health insurance. But anyway, Camille gets up on this paddleboard and she just goes across the lake. Clear across the lake.
All the way across.
And I'm like, so when she came back across the lake, I made it my mission to push her off her paddleboard. And she even had a bruise on her arm. She's showing Casey, your mom hit me with the paddle. And Shyla did really good.
Shyla did really good.
But then she appeased Camille and I, and then she got out.
She did.
She's terrified of the water, y'all. And when I say terrified, I mean it's a phobia. It's not. It's like any phobia. It's an unrealistic fear of something, And Shyla, my son's that way about snakes. Shala's that way about the water, and people ask
I'm that
me.
way with roaches. Just so you know.
I don't know that there's anything I'm that way about, but
There's nothing that you're scared of? Like,
I mean, I'm a little bit scared of things, but not to the extent that Shala is the water. So I was really, really proud of her for getting in the water. And, and people are like, did she like almost drown as a child? Did she have it? I'm like, no, nothing. There has been nothing. She didn't have any close calls in the water. She's just never been a water person ever in her whole life. So anyway, she got in the water. I was proud of her. Now she might have got in the water because she was like been drinking a lot that day. Might have been one reason she got brave and got in the water. I don't know, but she did get in the water.
She did.
So, but we had
when she first texted Tim to tell Tim that she was going to get in the water. He's like, "You've been drinking. You can't swim. I want 3 life vests on you."
Yeah, it was funny. And then I'm taking pictures of. And Casey was so mad about this. I mean, like really mad.
What was he mad about?
So I was taking pictures of Camille on her paddleboard, her like doing amazing on this paddleboard. What is the one thing he zones in on? Where's your life jacket? Because you know how he is about water.
Yeah.
And my kids are weird about water, but Casey's weird about water because of all the flood rescues he's had to do and things like that.
Sure.
So he's like, where's her life jacket? I'm like, delete that picture. I mean, I'm not gonna like tell, she can swim. I didn't have on one, and so he was so mad. Like he was like chewed her out for 2 days about that. I think he was pissed.
Wow. Sorry, Casey. Sorry, Camille.
Yeah, sorry, Camille. I shouldn't have been sending those pictures, But
it's not like my sister didn't have enough life jackets. But it's not something you always think of.
No, I mean, I didn't put one on because I wasn't doing anything except sitting on this board. But anyway, that was fun. We had a great time.
We did have a great time. We had a really great time. While I was there, we got Rosanna to start my Atlanticus. I have to show you guys this amazing bag.
I really love that bag.
I love this bag too. But I wanted to show you the Atlantica. So I just kind of like gave the whole huge skein to Rosanna. Do you see that skein? Do you see that skein bigger than my head? Yeah, about as big as my head. Yeah, I got a big head. I just gave the skein, the pattern, and the hook to Rosanna. Now, since then, she did part 1 to get me started because it's kind of like knitting. I mean, I'm not a big crocheter, but it's kind of like knitting where it's easier to do if you've got a little bit of substance already there. So Rosanna did to about this very last outside edge here, and then I think I've done 3 rounds since then.
I tried to start one too, and I messed it up, and Rosanna basically told me that I was not anywhere near that skill level. So I'm pretty much resigned myself to the place of doing easy crochet because I can't do Phoenix, I can't do Atlanticus, so I'm just
But your Kagan blanket is amazing.
Yeah, but I mean that's just easy, like granny square type thing. Yeah. But then after the retreat, a couple of weeks after the retreat, is my I have my grandkids every summer for a week, and we went to Amarillo this year. Stayed at my brother's. And we had a really good time. We took the kids to the movie, and we took them to the lake. We went to several cookouts, and Brinley and Bryson got to ride motorcycles. I was sad that it didn't work out timing-wise for Shyla and Peyton and Trenton to go with me. So that was a bummer, them not going. But Kagan and Brinley and Bryson and I, we had a really good time. I was exhausted when we got home.
She was.
I was dead.
She was exhausted there and exhausted when you got home.
So, but...
Jaime and I tested out the new RV. We had a good time. It's nice. It's big. Thank God I'm not driving it. I have a couple pictures I can probably insert, but we had a good time. I really have no life. I can't think of anything else that we did. I saw my sister. Grace was in town. She's getting ready to go on a cruise, and then she goes back to SMU for college. My Aunt Patty, which is my mom's best friend, she came to visit. I think she leaves today. So we had some time with her. Antonio's been playing basketball. He likes it. I still get him every weekend. How's Peyton's dog business?
It's really good. She's been working all summer long, and she has this one customer. I think the guy's name is Dan, and his dog's name is Brody, and Brody is a cow dog, like some kind of cow, Australian Shepherd, I think. And this guy loves his dog a lot, and he puts Brody in a doggy daycare. He sends him every day to this doggy daycare. But if he's going to be late getting home from work or whatever, he'll ask Peyton if Brody can come and spend the day with her. And then Peyton will go get Brody and bring Brody to the house and keep Brody, and then Dan picks him up. And Brody likes being there so much that I think Dan is fixing to go back to Lubbock for his last semester of law school. Then he's moving back. So when he comes back, he's going to hire Peyton to keep Brody every day. So Brody
awesome.
will be like go to daycare at Peyton and Shiloh's house instead of at the daycare. Because at Shiloh's, Brody has a dog door, and he has couches to lay on and a bed to lay on.
He's made himself comfortable.
He has made himself very comfortable.
He loves it there.
So
that's good.
But she's been busy. She hasn't done as much dog walking in the past month because it's so hot.
It is hot.
I mean, I don't walk my dogs in this heat. It's just too hot. But what she does is she has a lot of customers where she goes and she waters their plants and feeds their cats and feeds dogs, and she'll go babies, like if people are on vacation, she'll go, and I just would never do this, but she goes and she goes in their house and she makes sure that nothing's the dogs hadn't tore anything up. She'll let the dogs out and she'll feed them and play with them a little bit, and then she goes home, and she has some cats that she does that. So she'll clean the cat box and
sure.
Feed the cats and make sure the cats are okay and stuff. But she's had a lot of those kind of customers this summer. So she's done really, really well.
If I didn't have family here, like my daughter living just right down the road, I would need a service like that. I honestly would.
I just wouldn't hire somebody that I didn't know to come in my house. I guess I'm not as trusting as a lot of people because I just wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
but
I think I probably would. I mean, I've had housekeepers come in that I haven't known. That I've hired off of a website or service or whatever. When Jaime and I went to go test out the RV, and I do mean mini vacation. We went from like a Friday to a Sunday. I think I posted one day, we're leaving, and then I posted, we're coming back, and they said, wow, talk about a mini vacation. I was like, we were just testing it out, but Paige went and checked on the dogs for me every day. She goes in and makes sure that they don't chew everything up. And apparently, and that was the first time I'd left Jackson for that long, and it really wasn't that long, but, for that long.
You should have took him with you. He probably would have had fun.
I think I probably should have, and I didn't think about it, but I probably should have, and he probably would have had a blast. But when I came home Sunday, he had chewed on my cream sweater, and he knows how to unzip a Bags by Awesome granny bag. Everything was in a bag, and it was kind of up. But, up high for my standards is to get away from a Yorkie and a miniature Dachshund, or like a Dachshund size. Jackson, he can reach quite a few things. And he got Paige's Wallaby that I had started. Now, I hadn't done a lot on the Wallaby. The Wallaby only has like 1.5 inches of ribbing, or maybe even 1 centimeter of ribbing. But he chewed up some of the balls of yarn that I had already caked. So I had to throw away about 35 grams. And thankfully he got the cream sweater out, but he didn't chew on it.
That's good.
It was just laying on the ground with another cake of yarn. So
we're gonna have to Jackson-proof your house.
And I sent a picture to Paige, and she goes, the house didn't look like that when I checked him yesterday, because she probably checked him Saturday night, I think it was. But by the time I got home Sunday morning, well, I probably got home around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He was like, I'm not having it. I haven't seen that lady in 2 days, and I'm just gonna chew up some of her knitting.
I was nervous right before we went to Amarillo. So I picked up, Brinley and Bryson had a motorcycle race in Floresville on Sunday before we left on Monday. And we worked it out that way so that we could just pick the kids up at the race and come home. But we didn't want to take the dogs to the race again because it's 900 degrees. It's so hot. I didn't want them to have to be outside all day and stuff. So that was the first day that we've left them home truly by themselves.
I remember.
Like they could come in and out of the house. We left the dog door open because we didn't want to lock them outside because of the heat. And so we thought, okay, we're trusting you. You know, hope this isn't a big old, mistake. And I was nervous about it. And we got home.
She
and
texted me.
I was like, oh, I'm so nervous.
Multiple times.
Hope they're
I hope
not.
the dogs are okay.
Hope they're not being stupid. That bad Betty. And we got home and they were fine. They didn't do anything that they shouldn't have, that we could tell.
See, that would be Precious and Pearl, but Jackson, he gets bored.
Yeah, I keep all of my bedroom doors shut. I don't want them like on my bed and stuff during the day, and so we keep all of the bedroom doors shut, and I keep my knitting stuff pretty much in the middle bedroom. So I don't have a lot of stuff set. I don't have things that they can just get into.
I do.
Yeah. I don't keep a lot of things sitting out.
I need to get more crap.
But I was nervous. I thought, oh my gosh, because I thought they could chew the couches. They could chew, there's a lot of things they could do besides get in my knitting. But they were good.
True.
They were good dogs.
That's great.
So.
Somebody in Ravelry asked me, and I meant to write the name down, and I'm sorry that I didn't. Asked me if I could explain how I do a spreadsheet for larger projects. So I'm going to do a really short, I'm going to try and make it short, tutorial with a free pattern on how I make a spreadsheet. And it's just kind of halfway done. I only did the body. I didn't even add the arms. And I'm going to try and teach that real quick. So Darlene gets to just kind of sit in it.
Because I don't need to know this because she does my spreadsheets.
I was just about to say, Darlene doesn't need to learn how to do this because she knows she just needs to tell me what she needs a spreadsheet on. So this is the flax sweater by Tin Can Knits. It's a free pattern, and I picked it specifically because it's free and I'm not trying to do any, proprietary stuff or whatever. I picked my size, which is an extra large. And the first thing you would want to do is you would want to go through whatever project it is you're doing and pick your size, if there's different sizes, and highlight your number. So like here, I'm not going to zoom or anything, but I've got my different sizes in green as to how many stitches I need to knit or how many I need to cast on or this, that, or the other. So I have gone through the whole pattern and highlighted my sizes in green. After I've got my pattern ready, I pull up Excel. And I just make a very simple Excel spreadsheet. Now, if you don't know how to use Excel, you need to be able to do some basic math things in Excel. So
and a little bit of formatting.
Formatting, some formulas, a couple of different things. If you need some help on some complicated formulas, shoot me a PM in Messenger, in Ravelry, or if you hate Ravelry now and you'd prefer to send it to me on Instagram, it's Knitfomaniac on Instagram, or I'm a Knitfomaniac on Ravelry, or if you just want to send me an email, I'm a knitfomaniac@gmail.com, whatever works for you. So you need to know basic math, because basically I have a row count here, and it starts at 0, and then it goes to 1, and then my next cell is equals the row above plus 1. So I just add one thing every single time. So it just counts all the way down. And then when I get to the stitch count, so the very first row here, setup 0 says 90. That's because my pattern said to cast on 90. So my very first cell says 90. For row 0. Now I do ribbing. It says to do ribbing for 1.5 inches. Well, how long is 1.5 inches? We have to get the gauge. There's 22 rows for 4 inches, which means there's 5.5 rows per inch. And if you're doing 1.5 inches, it comes out to about 8.25 rows. So I have 8 rows of ribbing at 90 stitches. So this is all adding up in the third column. So the third column says take the first number 90, and that's how much total for that day. Now the second row 1 of ribbing, that was another 90, so now I've got 180, and it adds that up. Now take that 180 and add the third row, and I've got 270, and then 360, and so on and so forth. So that row is continuously through the entire spreadsheet calculating the entire stitch count. And I'm sorry, that's the 4th row because one has a title. So it's continuously just tallying it all the way down. When I get to the end and it's tallied all the way out for the body, again, this isn't the sleeves, and I've got 35,000 stitches. That's important because later I'm going to take that 35,000 stitches and I'm going to divide it by the number of days that I have to knit this item. I usually do a 31 day thing. If we've got a wedding going on and I need to do it by 90 and I have to do, we got 3 months to get this done or 2 months or whatever the thing is, that day count is important because first you have to get all the total stitches of the project. And if you're ever in doubt, like where I said, go ribbing for 1.5 and it came out to 8.25. If you want to go ahead and knit 9 rows of ribbing, you would rather pad it with extra stitches than to subtract stitches and not have enough time at the end of the 3 months or 1 month or whatever.
And I have to just like chime in here for a minute because these things, I don't know how she does it. Like I've been zoning out here because like I said, I don't need to know how to do it because she does it for me. But when Shyla was getting married, Shyla wanted this shawl, and I know y'all have all seen a picture of this shawl. It was amazing, and it was like almost 4,000 yards of fingering weight yarn.
Mm-hmm.
I had 3 months to do that thing in.
3 months.
So I told Carrie, I was like, I need this done in 3 months, and I need you to tell me what I need to do. I think I had to do like
2,000
stitches a day or something.
I think it was 2,387 or something like
that. A day. Like 7 days.
7 days a week.
For me to get it done. Because it was like 170,000 stitches in this thing or something. It was a huge amount.
Yeah, I have it saved, but it was huge.
And it was a lace. I mean, it was like a lace.
A lace. It was Wollmeise, yeah.
But the pattern, it was lace.
It was lace.
It was lace, right?
It was an
lace.
Mario pattern, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that thing, I would have never finished it if it wouldn't have been for this, because I mean
there's several things I wouldn't finish if it wasn't for this.
And I mean, because whenever you're knitting and knitting and knitting and you've got something that's so big like that shawl, you think surely I've done enough for today. Well, if I wouldn't have had that, I wouldn't have finished on time. But because I had that, I actually finished like a week early, didn't I? Mm-hmm. And I was able to get it blocked and everything before the wedding. But I would have never, now that's the only thing I knitted on for 3 solid months, which just about killed me.
And it was black, so that just about killed me.
And it was black, but I would have never been able to accomplish that if it wouldn't have been for Carrie's spreadsheet.
Yeah, and somebody had asked how I do it, so I don't mind doing them for anybody. I mean, I'll send you like a blank one. I'll send you one I'll send you this one that you can follow this flax thing so you can kind of see the formulas and see all the stuff in it. It's just hard for me to do it for people because if I don't own the pattern, then I can't see the pattern. And then you get into copyright infringements and, all this other stuff. So, so after you got to keep tallying that up, then I go just down the pattern to add more and more. So I've got this 8 rows of ribbing, and then there's literally a row here that says next round is an increase. So on the side here I say increase, and then the next row here is marker setup. So on the side here I have marker, so I know where I am in the pattern. And if you're knitting it, you know where you need to be. So if like day 1 needed to end on marker setup, which day 1 does need to end up on setup number 1, which is the row right after marker setup, your spreadsheet matches your pattern. So I literally have, so there's increase marker, there's a setup 1, setup 2, and then you go into rounds 1 and 2, and you repeat rounds 1 and 2, 16 times, 22 times total. So then I've got rounds 1 and 2. I'll zoom a little bit so you can
kind of want to knit that sweater.
Yeah, so you can see rounds 1 and 2, and then I have all these repeats. The 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all the way. You got to do rounds 1 and 2 all the way 22 times. And your stitch count's going to be 360 when you get done with it. And after 320, I'm sorry, and you've done 11,434 stitches by the time you get done with that. So I have that all tallied up. Well, then after that, then you work even for a certain amount of time. So that says in the column out here, work even. And I think only work even for 4 rows. Yeah, and then I separate for sleeves. So then, that row is for separating for sleeves. After you've separated for sleeves, you work in stockinette stitch for 17 inches. 17 inches, which is 93.5 rows. So I take it all the way down to 94 rows, and you can tell what row you're on. You can tack them off at 10s, 5s, 4, whatever, 2s, however you want to do. But you got to count for all 90 something of those rows takes me to the last sheet. Yeah, take it to 94, and then I put in this little thing, possibly 17 inches, so 94. And then we do ribbing again for another 1.5 inches, which I think I put at 8, or actually this time I put it at 9 rows. So I have all that. Now I didn't do the spreadsheet to include the sleeves and everything, but at this point I would now say sleeve 1, and it would probably say something like pick up the 66 stitches you put on hold. So my number would start with 66, and then I would have all the rounds that I have to do for the sleeve, you know, decrease every 5th round 13 times, whatever. I would have all of that. Every row of knitting is a row in my spreadsheet, and then at the end it tallies it all up to 35,130. And if I have 31 days to knit it, I have to do 1,133 stitches per day.
But what's really cool too, besides everything she just said, and maybe you said this and I didn't hear you because I was zoned out because I didn't pay attention because I don't need to know this, is she has percentages over here.
I do have a
and
percentage.
this is what can like be mind-boggling, is that you know, you're knitting and knitting and knitting, and you've only done like 2%. That's a killer, man.
Yeah, you finished at 14 yesterday, and you're only at 16 today.
Yeah.
That gives you, when you're knitting it, it gives you a feeling for how big this project is. If you've just knitted for 2 hours and if you've only gotten 2% done, well, then it's a pretty big project, you know. So,
but it's awesome whenever you get to 80%, 90%.
It is awesome, and sometimes I go a little bit faster. I'm at 91.55, you know.
And that was when I was doing Shiloh's. I would like, okay, if I just do one more round of 2,000 stitches, which you know, at the end it was literally 1 round a day.
It was, because it was a lot.
But you know, it was like you could see that percentage going down, and it's just so. It's just a great feeling. So
once you have that number of 1,133 that you need to knit per day, this is where the formulas come in. I have that.
I jumped the gun. I apologize.
No, that's okay. I have that tacked up here at the very top per day. So that's how many you need to do per day. So then I have day 1 here, and I have that same number, that 1,133. Then day 2, of course, has to be twice as much, 2,266. No row is going to end, well, very rarely is the row going to end at exactly 2,266. So I take it to where you had to be finished with row 2 of the 3rd repeat. See, that's how you can tell where you needed to be by the 2nd day, because this line, I move these lines to line up with this total row count. So this is the total row count. I know this day I had to have 1,133 stitches done. Now I have to have 2,266 stitches done, but what it's going to be is really 2,330, because that's what's going to be at the end of row 2 of the 3rd repeat. And then it goes on. So these days get moved around. These middle columns, they get moved around depending on the count that's up here. And I have to manually move those around. I mean, I just highlight them and move them around. And then you have how much you have to do each day. Some of these columns I hide. These are just extra columns where I get a day of a week. I use some formulas that says, you know, equals weekday of this date. And then I can say this needs to be done. If I hide these middle columns, then I know on 10/1 is a Thursday, you know, or however, you know, came out to. And I usually hide these middle ones that calculate the day of the week and stuff. I just use that to see that better. And then the percentages at the end. So I will email this to anybody that wants one, whether you want it the flax or however. If you just can't do it by stitch count, but you know that you're knitting, I don't know, Nuvum, and Nuvum goes to where you keep knitting and knitting and knitting until you have, you know, 30% of your yarn done. Well, you can go by the grams of your yarn if you have a scale. If you know you have 300 grams and you need to finish this in 100 days, well, then you need to do 3 grams a day. So then you know on August 1st, you need to have 197, and on August 2nd, you need to have 194, and on August, you know, so on. Keep subtracting 3 each time. 191, and so on and so forth. So you can do it by gram count, so you know that this day I have to knit 3 grams worth of my yarn. No matter how many stitches that takes, I don't know, but just go to 3 grams. Then I can have, you know, you can put a gram count here instead of a stitch count and know how many grams your leftover skein should be. And then you're subtracting each time and making the number go lower, 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 to know that at the end you should only have, you know, 30 grams left and start the border or what have you. But again, somebody had asked me to do that. So I wanted to do that. And again, it was just, I tried to be real quick. I think I
And
talked too
some
long.
patterns is harder though.
There are some patterns that are
like
harder.
whenever you were doing the spreadsheets for me, whenever I was making Bruce's sweater, because it was a cable sweater
It was cables, and you had to go to so many inches, and you would kind of guess the gauge, and then you had to do some decreases. So sometimes I wasn't sure if a row was going to have 82 stitches or when it was going to have 56, and decrease 2 stitches at each end, and so on and so forth. So I mean, there's a formula in each of these rows. Like when you're doing those rounds 1 and 2 where you're doing the increases, it's going to say, you know, this column equals the above column plus 8, because you're increasing 8 stitches every other round or whatever. So this number needs to coincide with whatever your stitch count is. Well, if it says to, you know, knit to, you know, 3 inches, you can guess that those 3 inches are going to be at 30 rows. But what if it's not exactly at 30 rows? Then, you know, because then I'm going to start decreasing the count. It went from 90 to 88 to 87, and it has some play. But I try, if I'm making a spreadsheet, even if it's for Darlene, I try and pad it if I need to. If she gets to start her decreases earlier, great. She just got to check off 2 rows of this thing that she never got to knit.
Mm-hmm.
But at least I had her ahead of schedule than behind schedule.
Yeah.
So if you think, oh, okay, well, it says to go for 3 inches, and I think 3 inches is 17 rows, go ahead and put it in your spreadsheet as 18 rows, just in case. And then you've got 2 extra rows, and those will get checked off super quick because you never have to knit them, but they're at least in here just in case you really do need those 2 rows to get to your 3 inches because your gauge is off or whatever.
It's a great tool. I mean, like, I don't make them.
It's not perfect science, but it is a great tool to know where you kind of need to be if you've got a deadline. If you've got a deadline. So I hope that helped whoever all it was that wanted it. But that was my lesson for the day.
Yay, thank
my
you.
lesson plan for the
good.
day.
So
that's all I really had.
So I tell her, say, Carrie, I need a spreadsheet for this, and then poof, it just appears.
It does.
It's a magical.
It does. It is magical.
So
It is magical. But I do have a couple of finished objects.
Okay.
I don't have them with me. Well, I have one with me. I have one finished object with me.
So beautiful.
My virus shawl.
I need to finish mine. That is so pretty.
I have pictures, of course, that I'll insert.
It's beautiful.
I finally finished it, so I do love it. It does make me happy.
How much did you have left of the yarn?
I had very little.
Really?
Very, very little. I was worried I wasn't going to get
And that was
last
the big
round.
cake, right?
It was a big cake, and if you'll notice, the very last bit, I hit into the colors. I was afraid, like this last repeat, because see how it started this color just the row before? Sorry, this last repeat. This is a repeat here. This big hole starts the repeat, and then it goes up. And I was afraid that I wasn't going to get this entire repeat across, because if you see, if I didn't get this repeat, I was going to end on blue and purple instead of more purplish blue. So, but I did. I think
it's
I had.
So pretty.
I think I had 4 or 6 grams.
Wow.
Yeah, it was not
That's
a lot.
awesome.
It was very, very little.
I need to get mine out and finish it.
So
It's a fun pattern to do.
It is, and it's not. It's nice.
Not hard.
I know
but
it looks hard, but it's really a nice non-thinker. Once you got that pattern in your head and you know what you're doing. And I'm not a
do it,
crocheter.
and I'm not a crocheter.
Yeah,
so.
I'm not a crocheter, so and we can both get. I don't have to keep looking at my things, so I can just go to town with that. But it was very nice.
What else do you have finished?
I finished Tim's A&M hat, which
It
I have to
looks
put.
so good on him.
It does. I have to put a picture of him in here, and then I finished my July brioche hat, which went to Shyla. I have a picture of Shyla wearing her hat.
It looks so good on her.
It does look good on her, and she really liked it, I think.
She does like it. She's a hat girl, man.
She is. I wouldn't have put those 2 colors together, but a long time ago on a podcast, I was doing like a Miss Babs, one of the monthly or quarterly shipments or whatever, and I got like a taupe and a blue, a gray and a blue, and then the other colorway was taupe and like a
pink or
purpley
right?
pink, yeah. And I liked the pink better, so I bought it. You can buy it as an extra. So then I liked the gray with the blue with the pink of the taupe. So I wanted to like switch the kits. So then I had this extra blue and this extra taupe that I didn't know what to do with. And Shyla had commented on the podcast. She goes, I love those colors together. You can make me something with that. I said, all right, I'll make you a hat. So, and of course, it's been like a year since I told her that, but I finally made her a hat.
It looks so good. I was looking through the finished objects in the July hats, and I ran across that picture of Shyla, and her hair's gotten kind of long. And I thought, wow, that looks
like my daughter.
That looks like Shyla. And then I was like, well, that is Shyla. I know, right?
That's something I would do. That's not something Darlene would do. That's something I would do.
But it looks so good on her. Well, whenever I was at the race before I picked up the kids to go to Amarillo, Camille, so I'm making Shyla this humongous octopus.
She is.
And it's huge. Well, Camille wanted to also make the octopus. Well, while we were at the race, she was like, I found this jellyfish pattern. Can we make the jellyfish first? And I was like, yeah. So we started.
Oh, that's a cute jellyfish. I have to put that picture
We
in.
started a jellyfish, and that's all I worked on in Amarillo. I didn't have a lot of time to knit or anything when we were in Amarillo, but I did finish the jellyfish, and Brinley, she claimed the jellyfish, so she has the jellyfish.
Yeah, that was a cute jellyfish.
So it was really cute, but it was time consuming doing all those little jellyfish tentacles.
I bet it was. And my big finished item since last podcast, excuse me, my moon drip.
Oh yeah.
And Paige tried it on for me. I have pictures to insert and show, but my mom ended up getting it. So I also have a picture of my mom wearing it. She doesn't quite style it like Paige does, so I have a lot more pictures of Paige than I have of my mom.
It looks great on your mom, though.
It does look great on my mom. It does look great on my mom, and I have to make another one for my sister.
And luckily,
but I offered. So
luckily, I am a moon drip failure because I just wasn't enjoying it, and I think I wasn't enjoying it. And nothing against Tristan at all, but I just didn't like the pattern. You know. So, I mean, everybody has those patterns they don't like, and I just wasn't feeling it. Anyway, I got down pretty far on the yoke of it, and I was like, I'm never going to finish it because I had a lot going on with the shop and work and kids and, just life in general. Well, I was going to actually rip it out, and Janice told Carrie,
my sister,
I want one. So
I texted her real quick, have you frogged yours? Because I'll just take it from there and I'll finish it.
So, I mean, I'm happy that Janice wanted it because I really hated the problem with frogging it, and the reason I hadn't frogged it was because I was going to waste all that yarn because there had been yarn cut. You can't frog color work as easy as you can frog other stuff.
And you've cut it and all sorts of stuff and already woven in ends and the whole 9 yards. I need to get your needles back.
Oh, I'm not worried about it. So I was happy that that it at least is going to get finished and somebody's going to wear it because I originally was making it for Shyla, and Shyla was like,
Shyla didn't want it.
That is ugly. And I mean, I appreciate Shyla's honesty.
Paige would have been the same with me.
I don't want her to say, "Oh yeah, I like that," and then I finish it and she never wears it. She told me
nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that.
And she told me, she's like, "Mama, I don't want that. That thing is really kind of ugly." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. I won't give it to you." Then I thought about finishing it for Camille. I don't think it's Camille's style either.
No, I don't think it's her style.
No,
either.
And then Janice was like, I want it, so I'm happy that Janice wants it.
Yeah, Janice does want it. So, Janice is like, well, I said, I'll happily make it for you. And she goes, well, if it's going to make you happy, then you can make it for me. Who am I to keep you from your happiness?
Really? I mean, gosh.
She loves me.
And it'll go fast, though, once you get finished with just that little bit of color work, then the rest of it will go fast. It's going to be
perfect mindless knitting for me.
Yeah.
Which brings me to one of my whips that's mindless knitting. I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast before. So
I love that yarn.
Try and make it fast. But we have Thanksgiving dinner at my aunt's house every year. And I have 3 aunts that live in San Antonio. So it's Aunt Eileen's house, and she lives out towards Medina, and we have it at her house every year. She does all the work. She's amazing. She's fabulous. She's wonderful. And years ago, when she started doing this, she had a new coworker at her work, and his name was Terry. And don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure he's from Switzerland, but I might have that all wrong. He is not from here, but it was his first time at here in the United States working at that place. So she invited him for Thanksgiving dinner. And he's married, and he's got Do I go over, under? I'm tying Darlene's thing. Under, over, through. And he's got three, well, they didn't have 3 kids at the first year that he came, but they have 3 kids now. Maybe even 4, I don't remember. And his wife comes and the whole 9 yards, and his oldest son was watching me knit on Paige's Gryffindor socks last year during Thanksgiving. And he was mesmerized. He was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm knitting a pair of socks for my daughter." And he says, "Can you knit me a pair of socks?" And I said, "Sure. What color do you want?" And he thought about it and he said, "I want green and yellow," which I'm pretty sure is the colors for Brazil's soccer team. I believe he's a big soccer fan. He's older than Antonio. He's probably about 10. He's probably close to Celeste's age. And I believe he's a big soccer fan, and I believe Brazil is his favorite team. So even though these are biscotte, this is biscotte yarn in the Grinch colorway, it matches Brazil's soccer colorway. So I'm trying to get these finished. I thought I had until Thanksgiving when I see him again. But my uncle's son got engaged, and we're having an engagement party for them at my aunt's house this coming Saturday, the 10th of August. So I thought, I'm gonna try and see if I can whip these out real quick and have them done by Saturday so I can give them to my aunt, to give to her coworker, Terry, to give to his son, Carl, for his socks that he wanted knitted. So that's kind of a new whip for me.
I have that yarn because I love that yarn.
It's a nice color.
And I may have to cake it up and make Shiloh a sock head hat.
Oh, that would be nice.
Wouldn't that be a cool sock head hat?
It would be a cool sock head hat. I do have the other one started as well. I think they're both almost to 5 stripes.
I love that yarn so much.
And I don't know, I'm not making a heel. I don't know the size of his foot. My mom scared me this week and we were at Antonio's soccer game. She's like, "That's not gonna fit him." I was like, "Mom, it stretches." I don't think she realizes.
They're supposed to be snug.
I don't think she realizes how much his socks do. My Aunt Patty put it on her foot, and I was like, "Yeah, his foot isn't as big as yours, so it's gonna fit him." But I'm not gonna put a heel in it because, you know, kids grow so fast. I'm just making a tube sock, so I'm probably gonna go double this length here, probably to 10 stripes of yellow, and then do some ribbing, and then I should be done. So he's a nice long sock you can grow into.
I need to get Peyton's socks finished. She asked me to make her a pair of socks, and I have them started. They're about this far a piece. I need to finish them.
I have so many things I need.
So, oh my gosh, me too.
But aren't we all the same? Aren't we all the same?
But I'm working on right now Shiloh's Weekender. I need to get it finished. I want to get it finished by the end of this month. So
end of August.
I need that. I need a spreadsheet.
I'll make it for you.
Okay. Because I really do want to get it finished by
good.
the end of August. So I think I love it. I think that it
feels great.
It feels good.
It feels great. I have my Weekender too. I brought it to show. I've already started my sleeves. I tried this on this past weekend. I have a pictured insert.
It looks so cute on you.
I actually think I want to make one that's sleeveless without sleeves because I really, really like it.
Well, you know what? It's similar to our cotton sweater.
It is.
You know, without the sleeves. Mm-hmm. Actually, if you stop the sleeves right there, it made like three quarter sleeves. Wouldn't that be cute?
It would be cute.
And this is a cotton sweater, so
it's a cotton blend. It's Knit Picks.
Cotton, right?
No, it's not Cotton.
Prima?
Comfy?
Comfy, okay.
Comfy or swooshy or squishy or I'll have to look it up. It's in my Ravelry projects page, but I've had this yarn for forever. I bought this yarn to make a February lady sweater, and then that wasn't happening, so it came out to be a Weekender.
Oh, I finished something else. I'm sorry, sidetrack.
Please.
My pig.
Charlotte's pig. Oliver the pig. I have pictures of that to put.
Because I was just thinking, I've been on this real stuffed toy kick lately that I need to get off of for a little while. I need to make Peyton's bear and I need to finish Shiloh's octopus, but I need, winter is approaching and I've got some sweaters I've got to finish. I need to finish Peyton's sweater, have 2 sweaters I need to finish for Shiloh, and I want to make Casey a sweater. So I'm going to have to put my fun crochet animals to the side.
You have to bring out the bag that Casey's sweater is going to go into.
Oh, okay.
This is an amazing bag.
So,
I'm a little jealous.
I love this bag so much. I had to sell my soul for it, but I do love this bag. It's a shark bag.
It is amazing.
So all of y'all know that my husband is my partner, my business partner. And when I say my business partner, he does everything except buy the material and ship stuff. And, well, okay, I guess I do everything except the sewing.
And he does the sewing.
And Bruce does the sewing. And I love this material. And because it's a business, you know, I don't always get whenever I, like that bag there, I don't have that bag. You know, I mean, I don't have a lot of bags because, I mean, it's a business, you know,
you can't just keep making yourself, you know,
we're in it to
everything.
make money. So I told Bruce, I was like, I love this bag so much. And I was like, can I please have a bag? And he was like, you don't need a bag. You have enough bags. Because he just made me this beautiful sunflower one that
He did.
But I actually bought that material with me in mind. I bought that material, and I rarely do this, but I bought that sunflower material because it says America My Home or something, and I just thought it was really pretty, and so I wanted it.
On our Instagram, it's beautiful.
And so I bought that for me, and I was going to make it myself, but he made it for me. But anyway, back to this material. I told Bruce, I said, I really want that bag. And he's like, you don't need that bag. You have enough bags. I'm like, okay, well, I have a deal for you. So
I tell you what, these deals.
I tell you, I'm always making him deals because him and I share cooking supper. Like
they do.
He cooks it one night, I cook it one night, and we rotate every other night. And so anytime we can get out of cooking on our night, we usually jump at it. So I told him, I said, I'll make you a deal. I said, I will cook supper from tonight, and this was Saturday.
Okay, Saturday.
I said, I'll cook supper so I made the deal on Saturday, so he had until Sunday to tell me. Or he had to cook Sunday, okay? I said, I'll cook supper for a week, so through Monday, if you'll make me an extra large shark bag with a red zipper. And because the one in the shop has a black zipper, I think the red looks better. Anyway.
Kind of does.
He's like, okay. And I said, and I'll cook through Tuesday if you'll make me a notions pouch to go with it. So his not wanting to cook prevailed, and I got this awesome bag.
That's the yarn for Casey's sweater.
That's for Casey's sweater with a matching notions pouch. But I'm a slave to the kitchen until next Tuesday.
She is.
Through Tuesday.
She is.
But I told Bruce, I said, it's worth it because at the end, you have to go back to cooking. I'll still have an awesome bag.
She will.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I may have found a way to get new bags is by, you know, making deals where
selling your soul.
Selling my soul for a bag. But I love it. I just think it's so cool because I just love the little sharks.
It's an amazing bag.
I love it.
Really
And it's the extra large size, which is, in my opinion, this extra large is a true sweater size. Because it's still not going to be big enough to put a huge blanket in.
And we don't mean those tiny itty bitty bodies like Paige.
No, we mean
Shyla.
like us.
We mean like extra large, 2XL, 3XL size sweater.
would fit in here. So it's a nice big roomy bag. But I want to show you this bag Camille made me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So this is a picture of Brinley, and this is her race number. And then on the back side is my grandson Bryson, which is Camille's son, and his race number and his
13.
picture.
I love it.
Isn't that cute? So this is what I put my bags in when I go to the post office every morning. But I wanted to show y'all.
Ship it.
So while I'm talking about Casey, I'm like in a real dilemma. I've got this really pretty blue Malabrigo Paris Nights yarn.
This is the same yarn I made Grace's sweater in.
And I've coveted this yarn for months. So I'm going to make Casey a blue sweater. My dilemma is, and y'all can chime in and let me know what y'all think. I originally wanted to make it for him for Christmas because we draw names in our family, and I drew Casey's name this year. So I thought I'd make him a sweater. That would be perfect. My dilemma is a pattern. So I had 3 patterns here that I picked out, and I lean more toward cables, so this one has really got my eye. But then I think he might really like this one. But then I don't know. So do I let him pick out his pattern?
Of this and pick them out.
And I'm kind of ruled this one out because it's not in the round. These 2 are in the round. And who knows, he might not like any of these. So, a sweater is a huge amount of work. Do I let him pick his own pattern out? So I don't know what to do. I don't know. So, and I really like this pattern, but I need Carrie to read over the pattern and tell me if it's a good pattern, because I have a knack for picking out terrible patterns.
She has an amazing ability for picking out terrible
I do,
patterns.
and so I don't want, I need Carrie to read this and tell me if it's a crappy pattern, and or not. So I mean, I'm going to cover up his face so you'll actually look at the pattern, because this is a really cute guy. So, but it's a nice pattern. So I don't know. I just don't know. So do I let him pick out his own, or do I pick it out for him? I don't know.
I think you should ask Camille.
I'll ask her.
Timberline.
I've actually wanted to make Timberline for a while, but Casey's other sweater that he has
And
is
she's
a
kind of
cable.
ruled this one out. So.
And the only reason I ruled this one out, it's a Wool People, Jared Flood, Brooklyn Tweed pattern also, but it's a lot like Timberline, only it's pieced. It's not knitting around.
Oh, okay.
So
it's one piece.
So I just don't know. I don't know what to do. I just don't know.
Sorry, can't help you there.
So,
well, I guess I can.
But I do need Carrie to read this one, because I kind of like the simplicity of this one. I mean, it's kind of simple, but I just need to see if, and I know Jared Flood, I know his patterns are well written, because it's Jared Flood.
Yeah, he has.
I just don't know about this one. I got this one off of Knit Picks. Not saying there's anything wrong with Knit Picks. I've just never heard of this designer. And so I need Carrie to look at the pattern and see what she thinks. So,
I'll read it. I'll read it as soon as we're done. Well, tonight, or as soon as I'm done here.
But
I don't know. Oh, I have another thing for Camille. I started this when we went to the lake house for our retreat. Amazing. Was it Melissa's idea? I'm sure it was Melissa's idea. Melissa had this great idea that we would do a yarn swap. So everybody brought one skein of yarn, you wrapped it up, put it in Christmas wrapping like I did. I put it in a Christmas bag, whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. And we all put it out on the thing, and then I put numbers in a bowl, and everybody picked a number, and then we went in order. We thought about doing the white elephant thing of you can go steal this, go steal that, go steal this, but I kind of think people's feelings get hurt. It's like, oh, well, I brought that amazing thing of yarn and nobody wants it. But it's all about a personal preference. So we didn't do that. And and
I'm glad we didn't do the stealing thing. I'm glad what you got. That's what I was just saying.
Yeah, what you got, you got. I'm glad we didn't do that either.
Mm-hmm.
So we went around and everybody got something, and I got
two somethings.
She did. Because she stole what I got.
Carrie opened this.
It was Rosanna's. Rosanna's the one that brought it. And it was this beautiful green yarn. I mean, beautiful.
Soft. I'm going to make
It was super soft. I think it has alpaca in it, or bamboo, I think. It was super soft. And
it's about this color, like the lightest part of this green.
Yes, it is so nice. And Rosanna says, she's the one that brought it, and I'm the one that picked it and opened it. It was supposed to be mine. And Rosanna says, I thought of Darlene when I put that in the bag. So then, of course, Darlene takes it.
I told her, I said, you do realize that yarn is going home with me, don't you?
It'd be like if she had picked up a yarn like this, it would have been going home with me.
And she was like, yeah. And she was like, just hands it to me.
I did.
It was funny.
But is this one that Camille picked or that you picked?
Camille picked it.
Camille got this one. And she really loves the self-striping of it. And she loved the socks that were pictured on it. And then somebody had mentioned to do fingerless mitts. Well, Camille doesn't knit, so she does knit with the big finger knitting, but she doesn't knit tiny knit. So I told her I would take this home and I would make her a pair of Frankenfingers. She was Frankenfingers, right? She does, yeah. So I've got it to 5 inches, and I need to start thinking. I think I've noticed that most of my things get put away when I need to start thinking. Because this was just straight ribbing, just straight up. But now I'm at 5 inches, and I need to start increasing for the thumb gusset and all this other stuff. So.
Actually, what I think happened was, Camille, we started talking about these fingerless mitts, and I said, I'll make you a pair of fingerless mitts. And she gives me the yarn, and I was like, here you go.
I think
that might have been how
it went.
Yeah.
There was a bit of alcohol involved.
Was a little bit
in this weekend. So I told her, of course, I'll make the mitts. Of course, I'll make the mitts. So that's.
And Camille will love them. That is really nice yarn.
It's really coming out nice. I really love the way that it's.
And it's got silk in it.
It does. I can't see.
I don't know who brought that yarn, but it's.
I don't remember.
I think Melissa Rogie may have.
She may have.
May have brought it.
It's great.
Rogie. Our friend Melissa, that I can't
She
ever
says
say her
it's
last
like
name.
it's like buggy, so it's ruggy, and we were like,
Really?
yeah, you
No,
don't.
that's not right.
We're like, that's not right. You don't know how to say your own last name.
That can't be right.
I know when she told us how to say it properly, both of us were like, yeah, that's not how you say your last name. We're just gonna keep saying it our way. I think it's like buggy. I think it's ruggy.
Really?
Melissa,
Wow.
send me a text, or I'll
Oh.
text you as soon as I'm done here. But I know she's told us how to say it,
Yeah,
and we
sure.
just still
We've
don't
only
do
known
it.
her for years, you know.
Yeah, we still don't do it right.
But we just name people what we want.
And so I was supposed to draw the thing for the amazing box, but I haven't drawn it. So we're going to keep it open for another month until we podcast again, because I want more names in the thing, and because I didn't do the drawing, and I'm really sorry.
And Carrie, I'll put a link to Shiloh's shop
Again, Shiloh's
again.
shop. I'll put these in, add more stuff to the giveaway, more people names. I love my Longhorn one. I use it for my crocheting. It's next to my
I use
picture.
my Firefly one all the time. I love it.
Yes. So we have that too. We still have the cow going till September 30th, end of September. Cover yourself cow, anything that you cover yourself with up on top. We've got, I don't even know how many entries. I need to look. But we're...
So Carrie and I had this, well, Carrie had this great idea today. I just always take credit for her great ideas, but Carrie had this great idea that, there's a friend of ours that's trying possibly to come to work for Frost, and her name is Jennifer, and we love her. And if she does come to work for Frost, we may ask her to start podcasting with us.
Jen,
So
we might be calling out on you.
because she's amazing.
She is amazing.
She would add a lot of, she's just so nice.
She has an interview tomorrow with one of the senior managers, and Darlene's going to it. So I was texting her this morning. I was like, look.
You were texting Jennifer?
I don't like it when somebody steals Darlene during my knitting time at lunch.
You told her that?
Yes. But because it's you, I'll make an exception this
What'd
time.
she say?
She's like, that's the first thing I said was, that's your knitting time.
She did.
She said,
she did.
She told Darlene, that's your knitting time. I said, well, because it's you, and because it means a chance of you getting to be at all of my lunch knittings, then I guess I'll give her up for a day tomorrow, but just one day.
So by the time we podcast again, this thing will be, we'll have a picture of Shiloh wearing it.
Yes.
Because Carrie's going to make me a thing.
I am. I'm going to make her a spreadsheet, and she's going to be done in no time. No time.
I mean, I'm almost to the underarms.
And I'll be wearing mine too. So my leggings or something.
So.
But I think that's all we have.
Yep, that's it. So thank y'all.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.